Yes.
Yes, sir.
Excellent. So, Razia, it's up to you when you want to start.
I have already started recording, George. So
Oh,
you can go on and, give some introduction and then we'll go.
excellent. Okay,
Thank
good.
you.
Hi, everyone. I'm George Dafoulos from the Department of Computer Science at Middlesex University. And I'm here today as a speaker of a topic on entrepreneurship. The brief overview is part of the series of webinars that we will deliver as part of our Creative Spark project with Khazar University, between Middlesex University and Khazar. What we will do today, we will provide a brief contextualization of entrepreneurship. We will talk about the national capabilities of Azerbaijan. I will define entrepreneurship. I will provide different types of entrepreneurship and entrepreneurial characteristics. And last but not least, we will focus on a video pitch competition. We were supposed to start at 1 o'clock. We are a little bit behind, so I will try to catch up, but I will try not to go too fast. Razia, I assume you're monitoring the chat because I cannot see the chat at the moment.
Yes, I'm managing that. Thank you.
Okay, brilliant. So if there are any questions, please interrupt me. From my understanding is we have 26 people attending so far, correct? I think, yeah. Okay, so we will start with the contextualization of entrepreneurship. What do you mean by that? We need to focus on entrepreneurship, but also we have to understand what's happening in your country, in your surroundings, because every country is different and we do not have one solution that fits all countries. It is very interesting to see the development of Azerbaijan over the past few years. And a few days ago, actually, there was a conference which your president, Ilham Aliyev, attended and made an opening speech. That is the fourth state program. That conference was about the state program on socioeconomic development in Azerbaijan between 2019 and 2013. And this is the fourth state program, and it builds on the previous cases. And it is very important to read. I mean, in every slide I have, if you see at the bottom, it shows the sources. It shows the sources of the slide, and you can actually see that we have the president there giving his remarks, and you can actually see the entire speech on the link at the bottom. And in his closing speech, he mentioned, amongst other things, that the future of Azerbaijan economy depends on the development of entrepreneurship, which means that you have the government focusing on entrepreneurship. This doesn't mean necessarily that entrepreneurship, that Azerbaijan is ready for an entrepreneurial revolution, but we need to understand that it requires certain things like supporting infrastructure. It requires the agencies, the technology, if you like, the readiness of the entire society to have entrepreneurship in place. It requires funding avenues, and after reading his speech, I realized that there are certain loans focusing on entrepreneurial activity, certain amounts. Manats is like it's focusing on these kind of projects. Creation of opportunities, and it is very interesting to see that the president was talking about non-oil industry cases and non-oil industry, outside of the oil industry, any opportunities that would be created. Special mention was made to corruption, and special mention was made about bribery and how this is one of the reasons why businesses cannot evolve. And of course, outward-facing governance. It means that when you have a government that is willing to have a conference, attending entrepreneurs, young people who want to develop business ideas, it is reassuring. Razia, are we good to go? Audio is fine? Yes? At least, can somebody confirm, guys, if you can... we can go ahead.
Yeah, we can.
All good.
Okay, good, fine. Sorry, I do apologize. I will make frequent interruptions like this because it's very important to see, like that. We can continue. Okay, the Bertelsmann Transformation Index. It's a very interesting website. I urge you to spend some time on this one because you will see that they record several countries. They record the progress of transformation of several countries and how they can actually move from where they are for a number of dimensions and concepts. Azerbaijan is one of the countries that they are under transformation. And there's been the latest transformation atlas was done in 2018. Unfortunately, Azerbaijan in economic loss was in one of the countries that they had a negative transformation between 2015 and 2018. But I suspect over the past 2 years, the government has spent more time in making sure that there are more opportunities in that front. The BTI index is focusing on democracy, the laws, market economy, social justice, and how governance is performed. And it has 5 goals, and I will particularly focus on number 3, if you can see, which is assessing transformation progress over time, reveal trends, and learn from best practices. And this is a very important aspect because this is exactly what we're trying to do with this British Council project. In other words, Khazar University, Middlesex University, we share good practice, we exchange ideas and knowledge transfer, and we're trying to introduce to Azerbaijan education system new aspects of entrepreneurship and how this can develop and help young people. I keep talking about young people, but it doesn't have to be young people. People who are not that young or feel young at least, people who are adventurous might be driving the process of entrepreneurship and the transformation. The way that the BTI works is that it identifies for every country an index, and that index is based on a number of scores. So basically it has the 2 main dimensions, which is democracy status and market economy status, okay? Under these 2 dimensions, we have 12 criteria. These criteria are stateness, political participation, political and social integration. These are under democracy. Under market economy, we have private property, market organization, welfare regimes, and so on. These are criteria, and under these criteria, we have 32 indicators. And based on that, the countries are being ranked in terms of the different aspects of the indicators that they have. And in this slide, you can actually see the standing of Azerbaijan in terms of transformation, status index, political transformation, and so on, of the 137 or so countries, which means that Azerbaijan has room for development. But you'll see the economic transformation and governance, but primarily economic transformation are quite, like there are positive results there. They're higher ranked. One of the 2 important, apart from GDP, everybody's talking about GDP, it's very important for you to consider the Human Development Index, which is the figure that shows life expectancy, education, per capita income indicators. In other words, the Human Development Index, the higher it will become in Azerbaijan, the higher it will be the progress into entrepreneurship, innovation, creativity, new business, and so on. Continuing with, okay. And I will stop there with Azerbaijan and continue with entrepreneurship. I will try to provide some definitions. Unfortunately, when you have a video conference, it's very difficult to make it, if you like, interactive. But can somebody at this point try to define entrepreneurship for me? Anyone? You can say something or you can type something. I'll pause for half a minute. If you can unmute yourself and say what you think entrepreneurship is.
Maybe I can try.
Yeah, please.
It's like you have an idea that you have that you think will benefit the society and role, and you have to, like, you think that you can you try to apply it to increase the life quality of people.
Okay, good. Anybody else? That's a good overall. Yes. Anybody else? I'll take one more if possible. Nobody brave enough. I'll talk about entrepreneurship then and what makes entrepreneur. We need to consider passion. Entrepreneurs are passionate people, are people who are, they really love to come up with solutions. They have a vision. They are innovators. They want to come up with something new that hasn't been tried out yet. They need to consider about new products and services and whether a service that does not exist, it can actually produce a product. It can actually produce something that a business can be created. And they demonstrate tenacity, continuously working for feedback. In other words, how are my efforts doing? I have created a new service. Is this useful? How can I work more on this? How can I repeat it? How can I emphasize it? And in order to emphasize the aspects of the product and service, they try to inspire everybody about it. So basically it becomes, if you like, a social mini revolution. It is disruptive in its nature. In other words, they do not like to have the same things again and again and again. They want to do things outside of the box. I will try to play a short video, and if you can bear with me, it will take a couple of minutes in terms of the entrepreneur scan and what is the smile of entrepreneurs.
Now we're going to talk about our vision and our definition of entrepreneurship, which is done by animation, and we will show you what the smile of entrepreneurship is about. And it all starts with seeing opportunities. And of course, everyone sees opportunities, but not everyone sees an entrepreneurial opportunity. So some people actually think they don't see anything where others see only opportunities. But the question is, if you see an opportunity, the question is it something that you can do? Is it something that you can make a business out of it? You really have to think about, and that's what people do more or less. Is this an opportunity for me? Can I do something about it? Is this something that I can make a business out of it? Because in the end, it also is about money. Can you earn enough money? But the definition of entrepreneurship is not only seeing opportunities, exploiting them, but of course, creating value for others, which is the smile of entrepreneurship, which is of course the smile of customers. You either make them happy by solving their problem or giving them pleasure. Looking at success, of course, everyone thinks about earning a lot of money. And of course, if you focus on the money, the problems arise because then actually people are there for you rather than you are there for your customers. So instead of earning money, you are burning money. And of course, that is a problem. So it's about the smile of entrepreneurship, which is, of course, the smile that you create with your customers because they're happy with what you serve them. At times of crisis, then, of course, there is a problem that money is going out much faster than money is coming in. And of course, the smile is becoming a sad phase and people don't see opportunities because they have their eyes closed. You need your eyes open. That's the only way to make sure that you have new ideas how to overcome these problems. Okay, when growing, then of course, you need your eyes open and you need to have a vision because you also need to know how to realize that vision. Are you still the entrepreneur at the right place? And then of course, it's also about money because cash is king. Money comes in, but you have to make sure that you get more money in than going out. And then of course, it's all about the smile of your customers because that's what you do and that's what you do it for. And that's also what you will get from customers. So that's our definition of entrepreneurship.
Okay, I hope you all got that. So in an effort to have a definition about entrepreneurship, further, there are so many definitions there. We can see the first one from Morrison and all. It involves the identification and exploitation of opportunities to create value. So you see, it's all about identifying an opportunity, but also making money out of this opportunity, as we listen to the video. And also refers to a number of things, like create an organization, renew the way organization operates, create innovation within an organization, making independent efforts, or change an existing organization, if you like. In an effort to continue entrepreneurship definitions, you have to consider that entrepreneurship has so many different fronts. A lot of people are talking about being creative, being innovative, creating something new. but a lot of dimensions now, they're merging to technological entrepreneurship, and on the other hand, the social entrepreneurship. And one doesn't mean that you cannot have the other. You can actually have technological entrepreneurship with a social aspect. So the aspect of technological entrepreneurship is that it focuses on using technology to move forward, and social entrepreneurship focuses about the impact on society, on local communities, national or regional levels. You have to consider also the concept of independent entrepreneurship or entrepreneurship. Usually it's people think about independent entrepreneurship most of the time. They're thinking about somebody who wants to create a new business. On the other hand, you may have corporate entrepreneurship. The term is usually for that is intrapreneurship. And actually, this is activity that it exists within an organization. In other words, somebody doesn't want to create a new organization. It just changes the way that an existing organization operates. And what we can see from this slide is that we can actually see the key elements of entrepreneurship, which are, we need to focus first of all on opportunity. We focus on the organization. In other words, the organization offers and understand the vehicle for this opportunity. And does it mean that there is an existing business that we can actually, the firm can actually be transformed, or does it have to be a new entity, a startup? And of course, the entrepreneur is in the middle of that. So the entrepreneur is the person who identifies the opportunity, builds, manages a business, an organization, at the same time attracts and combines resources to make all this happen. And the entrepreneur is the person who will recognize, evaluate, and exploit the opportunity. At this stage, I will pause again. I will ask, is everything okay? A couple of people. I promise I'm not asking a difficult question. Just want to see that you're alive. Am I going too fast? Everything okay? Should I go slower?
Yes, it's fine, George. But more people are requesting to join, and I don't know how to manage that because we have limited space.
We cannot add more there. We have 32 at the moment.
Yeah,
I
don't know.
It does not allow you to add more?
As I accept someone's call, I go out of this this chat. So I'm afraid I will not be able to record then. I don't know how to manage this.
I can see that it's been recorded. So we have 25 minutes being recorded. So I think this is in your account. So keep accepting people, and we will see how it goes. And I'm happy to replicate this again later in the week.
Okay, thank you.
Good. So we go to the types of entrepreneurship now. Technological entrepreneurship. The definition by Barleti says that it is an investment in a project that takes people with special skills and different kind of assets and put them together in a way that we take advantage of scientific and technological knowledge. So basically, we in other words, identify how technology can help us to move forward. And what you can actually see from this diagram is that we can actually have a classification based on the degree of change in demand and supply, and of course the expected losses and risk. And by that, we have different types of organizations. You may have incremental technological entrepreneurship. So basically what they have is like, they go one step at a time. It's like, it's a low risk and low change to make a little bit of change on existing organization. Before proactive organizations who identify solutions, they have already existing solutions, and they be proactive in applying them in different areas. So basically, it is the opportunity to have a very funny example that we've seen because of the recent situation with lack of toilet papers. A lot of new bidet systems or washing systems have been brought back to life, saying, you know, like, we're being proactive. So we have this system which is hygienic and mostly was being used for medical purposes. Now we want to replace, if you like, toilet paper because of the lack of toilet paper. So people are being proactive. And this is not a huge risk because there was a product that they may have already in place. Then you have radical. Radical, it is the organization when they want to have high change of demand and supply, high risk. Basically, they identify new market, they're trying to identify new customers, and basically that is a huge opportunity. But actually, a lot of businesses that they go through that avenue, they may have high risks and they may be affected in terms of the overall if you like, survival rate of the business. And reactive businesses are those businesses that they are more, if you like, on taking a high risk because they saw everybody else going through a market and they're just followers, and they're quite likely to be the laggards. They're likely to be the ones who will fail to succeed compared to the competition. In terms of social entrepreneurship, we have to consider that this is driven by a mission. The mission is to do something, to provide social value for those who are either less privileged or those that are in need. The creation of independent, self-sufficient, sustainable entities. And you have to consider there is a difference between the characteristics of social entrepreneurs and profit-oriented entrepreneurs, okay? So if you'll see on the table, you can actually see that there are certain characteristics that are common. They come up with innovative ideas, they are leading figures, they are alert about finding opportunities, they're persistent, committed, and so on. However, the social entrepreneurs, they are led by their mission. They're emotionally charged. They want to achieve something for society. On the other hand, the profit-oriented, they are willing to take calculated risks because the idea is that they are high achiever, but also they are strategic into creating value. In other words, they create, if you like, something about the business entity. While on the other hand, you have people who are socially alert, try to find out what society needs. They have a vision. It is very important for them to achieve more and more for society. And the two concepts you need to keep in mind is the social process. So how we do business, how we affect, what kind of initiatives we take place, how we can actually help society, and the social purpose. So basically the desire to solve specific social issues. So in other words, if we don't have a social purpose, then we are not social entrepreneurs. It's not creating a problem, it's finding an actual problem that we need to solve. So what are the entrepreneurial characteristics and skills we need to take? There are so many resources. This is why I've tried to include, this is a very interesting Forbes article. You can see the link at the bottom of the slide, where it's identifying 8 P's of entrepreneurship. And as I mentioned again, is the passion. You need to be passionate about something. I mean, whenever I teach new people, I'm passionate about it. So you cannot hide your passion. If you are full of energy, if you're excited of sharing something or creating a solution, achieving something, this will be a key driver, and it will help you to influence others, to have an impact, if you like. The second one is perception. So you need to have perception in terms of what are the problems, what kind of solutions you need to identify, and so on. The third one is to have the entrepreneurship is about potential. What can happen? Can we create a business? Can we create value? It's the people element. The people element can be actually having the right skills to be a good entrepreneur, being able to read the people's mind, being able to communicate in different ways, and so on. Persistent learning. You need to learn new techniques. You need to learn new ways of dealing with problems. You need to be aware overall of your surroundings. Permanent change. You cannot be stagnant. You have to always be alert, always trying to find out, like whether it's something else that requires your solution. Perseverance, because it's an endless battle. And during that endless battle, you may find out that your motivation is low, and this is why you need perseverance and being proactive. You cannot expect somebody to come up with a problem. If you want to be a true entrepreneur, you're always looking for new problems that require innovative solutions. And you need to possess certain skills. A very interesting one is because there is a list of 9 skills based on the appinstitute.com. It's a very interesting one. I was reading the blog, and she was writing about grit, which was defined as sticking with things over the long term until you master them. So in other words, you cannot be an entrepreneur by just skimming the surface of things. You need to know exactly the problem. You need to know the solution, because you will be the main driver. You will not be if you like, delegating the task of entrepreneurship to someone else. You're not a manager. You're an entrepreneur. You are the person who everybody is going to be expecting to come up with the answers. Financial literacy. I have to say this is one of my weakest points when I do business, in a sense that it drives me crazy when I have to deal with the boring part of figures. I love maths, but not the boring part where you need to account for everything. But you need to know that in order to manage projects. Influence, you need to be influential in order to persuade people to give you money, to support your idea, to make policy. Relationship building over time, because that will be the element of trust, for people to trust your crazy ideas. Self-awareness. There's nothing wrong with having negative aspects of your life. Having your cons is as beneficiary as your pros, as far as you know what your, if you like, your weaknesses are and how to address them. Project management, because at the end of the day, entrepreneurship is about creating projects and how to manage projects. Communicate with CEOs, CIOs, CTOs, people with money, banks, but at the same time, potential customers, suppliers, people who you will collaborate with. Imagination, be able to come up with creative solutions all the time, and measured risk taking. Those of you who think that entrepreneurship is about uncontrolled risks, you're definitely wrong. It's about control risk taking, measurable actions in terms of the impact that it will have to your endeavors. So if you see the graph on the bottom right of your slide, you can actually see there is a continuum. Based on this continuum, you have 6 types of people. You have, first of all, privileged entrepreneurs. These are the ones who they are the ones who they have everything already. They may be at the elite of society. They may enjoy celebrity status, and they will have people who will support them to achieve something. If you are looking at a very interesting example is the Kardashian example, because basically there is a family of Armenian background Americans where they engage in reality TV shows. There is an entire industry behind them, and the youngest of the family, she is one of the biggest females by the age of 21 now. And the reason is that she came up with the idea of having her own makeup, nothing crazily creative. However, because she has already a lot of support, there is the industry behind her, and then actually that helped to create the millions, if you like, cosmetic lines that they sold out within a matter of hours. And then you can actually find them on eBay or on Amazon being sold for thousands of pounds, which is really, really interesting to see how that business model works. Then you have the die-hard entrepreneurs, those who, whatever the case is, they will just do new business. This is what they live for. They want to create new businesses, and then maybe they sell them, or they nurture them up to a certain point, or they can see them die if they are successful. But they like the entrepreneurship concept of creating new business. Promising entrepreneurs who could be, but basically they're missing something that could be part of skills, personality, and so on. A lot of promising entrepreneurs, they need a little bit of a nudge to go to the next step. Potential entrepreneurs, they have a business, but basically what you have, they have restrictions. So they're just business managers or small shop owners. Reluctant entrepreneurs, they're those who would engage in entrepreneurship, but they would rather do something else, work for the public sector maybe, or for a large organization, but not be on their own. And those of you who do not want to be entrepreneurs at all. So you see, I don't know how many of you classify in any of these categories, but I hope everything is fine. I'll pause here for a minute. All okay? Any questions, guys?
Yeah, all good. But I have a question. Like, can you explain a bit more the reluctant entrepreneurs? Like, what stops them from becoming at least potential entrepreneurs?
Okay, the reluctant entrepreneurs, they will never be entrepreneurs unless they have somebody who will hold their hand. The reason why if they're not entrepreneurs, they're not the ones who will say this is not for me. These are people who say, oh, okay, I could see potentially myself being an entrepreneur, but I'm afraid. What if I run out of money? How will I manage the finance? Okay, I have great ideas, but how do I develop them further? So reluctant entrepreneurs are the ones who are either there may be too, if you like, they may be lacking confidence, too insecure. Maybe they're lacking the surrounding environment to help them out. Maybe they come from a poor background, therefore they are avoiding taking extra risks. So reluctant entrepreneurs are those with so many restrictions. So basically, they would prefer to go the easy path. And by the way, the easy path doesn't mean that you're a private sector or public sector worker and this is easy going. But to their mind, this is much easier than running your own business, and even more running a business and at the same time running a creative business. Okay, so reluctant entrepreneurs might be also somebody who has a small shop, but they don't want to create, if you like, an e-shop, because they would say, look, that's the extra mile. I'd rather stay where I am. I don't want to extend further. Does this answer your question? Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Ahmed. Okay. Okay, so there are several myths about entrepreneurs, and actually there's nothing wrong by being an employee versus entrepreneur. You can actually see both of them. They're having serious effort, working, and they focus on income. Yeah. Entrepreneurs are ready to take risks. I mean, George Bezos with Amazon, for 10 years, they were losing millions. And they said, no, Amazon will stay. I mean, we will sell books online. And then eventually after books, they start selling other products. And now they have the premium, which is about watching online content. And they if you like, they diverse all the time. So you see, that's the thing, is that with entrepreneurs, they can actually wait while the employees, so they say something to be received immediately. I want the security. So that's that's some of the changes between the difference between employee and entrepreneurs. But there are certain myths about entrepreneurs that we like there are stereotypes. Okay. People think entrepreneurs don't have a personal life. No, it's not true. I mean, I regard myself as an entrepreneur. I always have crazy and innovative ideas that I put throughout my institution. On occasions, I have some business endeavors, and I help with my consultancy some people or organizations with business. But I'm myself a technological entrepreneur who is more like an entrepreneur. So I work all the time, but at the same time, I find time for my work-life balance. And the work-life balance is ideal because most of the ideas for creative people come through not hours and hours sitting in front of the computer, but it can be while you observe your family, your society, the surrounding environment. Entrepreneurs take lots of risks. Most of them are calculated risks. So the stereotype is that they take lots of risks. They don't care about things. This is not correct. Only motivated by money, so untrue, because you have social entrepreneurs. For example, you may have somebody who will go to a small island creating a shelter for stray dogs. You may have, one of the entrepreneurial ideas is about supporting living and how you use sensors for assisted living services for elderly people. So all this does not have to be about money. It can be about social capital creation. Entrepreneurs raise money from venture capitalists, not necessarily. There are so many different ways of creating money, and not just getting venture capitalists that get percentage of what you own and your business. Of course, entrepreneurs have great ideas, but not all the time. There has been, for every great idea, probably there are 10,000 ideas that are really, really failing. Formal training education, quite a lot of entrepreneurs are not coming out from universities, although there is the tendency now to teach entrepreneurship at uni. A lot of people are entrepreneurial by their drive, so you do not have to go and study. I mean, with Kyrgyzstan, we have a similar project in the second year now, and quite a lot of entrepreneurs were young single mothers that they could not afford to go to school, but they had ideas and they wanted to pursue them. So entrepreneurs are young. I've seen entrepreneurs as young as 80 years old. So as I said before, although we're thinking young people, it's not always young. Entrepreneurs don't quit until they succeed. I've seen so many entrepreneurs that I had enough. So entrepreneurship is, at a certain point, it can be very stressful. You may want to take a break. And entrepreneurship is genetic. No, it's not genetic. A lot of people could argue that they can teach you entrepreneurship. I don't think I can teach entrepreneurship. I can talk about entrepreneurship, but I cannot make you think the way that I think all the time. So, I mean, after I finish this talk, I will try to come up to one of my projects. Then I will go and do a little bit of DIY. I will talk to some friends. I will take care of my family. At the same time, all this period, I will have 20,000 different ideas, and some of them I will pursue, some of them will not. I cannot teach you that. I don't think it's genetic. It's if you like, it's a tendency that you have from your personality, and then you put yourself through experiences, and hopefully you have the supportive network of people and resources to help you with that. And by becoming entrepreneurial, you're helping not only yourself, but actually you can help your country. This is a very interesting case study from India. And how it focuses on wealth creation, because you create businesses, and these businesses will require the services of other businesses. You can create jobs for others. You can create jobs for your suppliers. You can create an entire new sector if you are innovative enough. Regional development happens a lot because if entrepreneurs do not have to be in the capital city, so you may have people in Baku, or you may have people in Ganja, you may have people in other places in smaller parts of Azerbaijan, and you can actually identify how these small businesses can help regional development. Of course, it has a benefit for the gross domestic product and, of course, the capita income. It may improve standard of living, not only of the immediate people, but for the people who will actually get the products and services. It may generate products that you can actually sell to other countries, and of course the community development if you have social entrepreneurship. And how do we teach entrepreneurship? Entrepreneurship education can actually, it's very interesting. If you see the graph, it shows to the right side, you can see this pie chart, and actually it shows the time that an entrepreneur spends being one of these four rows. They're pioneers, they are salespeople, they manage projects, and they are specialists of what they produce. And in order to achieve that, they need to develop. And how do you develop? Market awareness. Is there a market for my idea, or this is a dead end? Being creative. Do I have new ideas and new solutions to existing problems, or can I find new problems that other people have not noticed yet? Am I being flexible in the way that I do things, the way that I can adapt my solution? Can I plan? Can I take under consideration the environment and the different aspects during the planning? Am I able to manage finances? Am I able to lead others? Am I fulfilled when I achieve something? And can I operate when I am on my own without the need of a boss or somebody to guide me? And is it possible to keep in mind the rest of society while I'm coming up with solutions? So while I'm successful, do I understand the impact of my business to others? And of course, do I believe in myself? Do I have endurance in terms of being able to stay motivated and committed throughout the task? And am I able to calculate risks, assess risks, and take risks? So all these are aspects that you need to develop. And entrepreneurship education can actually happen in a university like Khazar, can happen through a webinar right now, or it is through life experiences. So at this stage, I will take a little bit of a longer pause to say that I provided you an overview of entrepreneurship. With my very good friend and colleague Razia, we decided that we will actually continue these webinars because the original plan was that I was going to be in Azerbaijan a couple of times and I would do these like in a condensed mode. I'm more than happy to provide additional webinars and also to assist you with the video pitch competition. At this stage now, I really want you to find out more about the video pitch competition and the Creative Spark. So can I ask you, do you have any idea of what this competition is about, or do you have a clue, or you think you know? Anyone? I have 36 very, very quiet people.
Maybe like we have to present an idea, like about entrepreneurship, and it will be a competition among ourselves.
Yeah, thank God for Ahmed. Ahmed, thank you very much for being so active. Okay, I will play a short video, and this is from last year's the Kyrgyzstan National University and how we worked on the project.
Good day. My name is Khazar. Today during the training we covered not only entrepreneurship but the item of women entrepreneurship also. By observing a little bit, one can easily tell that there are a lot of bright young ladies in Kyrgyzstan that want to make their own contribution into society and making it a little bit better. Unfortunately, they're facing some challenges such as lack of experience, knowledge, or even support. And I think that Creative Spark as a project is going to work as a great, powerful tool that will help them implement their ideas and make them reality.
Hello, my name is Aydar. I am a third-year student of Kyrgyz European faculty in Kyrgyz National University. Today's training gave us so much interesting and funny stuff. We have an activity when our course were separated for 4 groups, and we played games, and it was very fun and so interesting. Okay.
About business entrepreneurship, and I learned about business planning and also major concepts of business. And I think it will be very useful for me for my future if I want to create my own business. So thank you so much. Goodbye.
Okay. Did the video play okay? Yeah. Can you confirm?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
So the first thing that you need to do is create a student team. As you saw what we've done in Kyrgyzstan, you need to create a student team. And that can be 3, 4, 5 people. It depends really on how Khazar University will deal with it. Razia is arranging different plans with different departments. It can be from any department. You need to come up with a creative, innovative idea for a startup. It doesn't have to be a huge idea. I'll give you an example. One of the guys who came up with a very good idea was he created a memory pillow for people. And another lady last year, she created, if you like, a book with bedtime stories for children, a pop-up book. It can be anything. I mean, another idea that I really liked in Kyrgyzstan was that they were doing a car wash without water. So that's quite interesting approach as well. So what you have is like, you need to consider whether you're going to have an idea about a product or a service. You create a poster like the one that you've shown the video, and then you create a 60 seconds video. Of course, all this was back in the days when we could meet each other. So now with the social distancing measures, all activity will have to be online. So you can actually meet with your friends. You can actually use any technology that you want to talk to each other. I mean, it doesn't have to be phone, it can be any kind of video conferencing tool. And then when you reach the point where you want to create a video file, we will try to find a way of how we can actually merge individual videos. It could be 10, 15 seconds of video, or it could be, for example, you log on Zoom or Teams, and each one of you talks, and then we have the video of your entire team. We can find solutions and ways around it. And we have loads of prizes. The participants will be getting certificates from Middlesex for your participation. The winners will get additional certification as well from Khazar and Middlesex University. But at the same time, there is a CAS award for winning teams. And the winning teams, they will get, hopefully, after the all this terrible madness goes away, they will be able to join the other universities for the winning of the entire Creative Spark Last year we had it in Oxford. There will be trips for the regional competitions, and of course it's a fantastic experience and something to put in your CV as well. So we're looking forward to have as many as possible of you applying. It can be a small team of 2 or 3 people, it can be a bigger team, in order for start with the video pitch competition and the posters. So that is that's the idea of the pitch competition, and I can answer any questions about this how to organize this. And webinar is over. I'm just waiting for any of your questions. Otherwise, it would be Razia could actually explain how you can move forward chasing.
Yes. Yeah, thank you very much, George. It was marvelous, and it was an excellent overview of how to become a good entrepreneur. Actually, we have announced internal competition, which includes also pitch competition as well, and we have announced prizes for 3 kinds of winners. And I'm going to post the link to that announcement. Students still there to create their teams and to start meeting with it, gain those prizes for the bigger competition to have nationally and internationally. Plus, I think some of students at today's seminar already applied for with. The thing is that we have only 2 teams that possible. The competition, we need more teams to be created. And the other thing is that we ask students to interdisciplinary teams, because the purpose of this project was the skills of the design students, so we want them to be on board. So that was the matter of communicating and getting those people into the teams. Those teams that we have already have an application form, they people on board. I will ask the followers to go to those links I'm going to mention in the chat and to apply with the idea. Thank you.
And
yes,
don't forget to remind them that every member who joins the competition and they submit their poster and video pitch, they will be getting the certificate from Middlesex University saying that they participated in this competition.
Yes, of course, there will be certificates of participation and lots of other prizes, and you will be able to deliver your presentations to hopefully to people get out of this disaster right now.
And if not, we will do the presentations completely online, and it's a huge experience for the students. If it is, even if it means that they will talk to some of us from England remotely.
Yeah. George, also, can we come up with some ideas how to help to students if they are not so clear with the we will have a similar meeting or a series of meetings. So I'm more than happy to. I can put a team together. I can put my team together, 3 or 4 people who can actually help the teams, the student teams, of how to develop their ideas further. Okay. Thank you for everyone joining us.
Can you make sure that you stop the recording and you save it somehow? And if you can actually send it,
I will.
If you can send it to me, because I need to use it for the British Council and send them the link as well.
Okay.
Okay, guys. Thank you very much. Do you have any questions before we?
Just a little question.
Yes.
I'm here as an exchange student at Khazar University. I completed my semester. It was